Bienvenidos a otro segmento de los Tres Golpes Tv. Padre, Hijo y Espíritu Santo. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. Do me a favor, obviously, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys like to see in this video, what you guys like on the obviously in the older videos, and also hit that bell button. So right now, I have somebody that I kind of met, between last semester and this semester, obviously. I already graduated, but she's still in school. And this girl I'm going to present to you guys today is a friend that met in volleyball, right? In volleyball.
Volleyball.
To you guys, to the world, Gabby. So what's up? Welcome.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm pretty good.
You're good?
Stomach's bothering me, but I'm good.
All right. So this is like your first time, obviously, like something like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
yeah.
It's nothing too hard. Obviously, I'm gonna just ask you questions and then so on and so on, right?
Sounds good.
So explain about yourself, like where you're from, where you come from.
All right. Like so originally, I grew up in North Bergen, New Jersey. I don't know if anyone knows where that is. That's up by like New York, Hudson County. Mm-hmm. I lived there for 16 years, basically. And then now I'm in Westfield, which is down in Central Jersey. And I'm going to be, it's going to be like my almost fourth year living in that area. So definitely it's different from living up in North Bergen. It's going from like city to suburb. Completely different vibe.
So like as nationality wise, like where are you from? Like your parents are from, for example?
So my mom was born in Bogota in Colombia, and then she came here when she was about 14. And then my dad was born here. He was born in Jersey City, but he's Italian Argentinian.
Okay.
Yeah. So
she's literally a pot of mixture, right? That's good though. At least you're cultured, right? Definitely speak Spanish. That's good. So in the sense of like your life expands, in the sense of okay, you grew up. Obviously, we have up and downs, and I like to go straight to the point, So like, what has marked you, like as in like, you still struggle today to like overcome, or there's something that marked you that you definitely like, okay, this was something that was like big and never told anybody about.
Something that I never told anyone.
Yeah.
I'd say, I mean, just like throughout the course of my life, I feel like there's different things that I've like had to overcome. And I'm pretty open about myself. Like people pretty much know who I am, things that I've been through. Definitely. So
now, in the sense of like, obviously, are you religious or no?
I'm religious, yeah.
Okay, so as in like, what's your practice, for example?
Roman Catholic.
So how is that? Explain to me that.
So Roman Catholic to me, my parents sent me to Catholic school my entire life, so God was very involved in my life. Okay. Church was something that, I didn't really go to myself often unless it was like through my school, but I still consider myself like close to God with the way I, practiced religion with like my day-to-day life.
Okay, so as in even though you attend church, do you know the reason why? Was like it's a personal issue? Like you went through a situation where like that's not for me. So I was like,
why I didn't go to church? Yeah. In my opinion, I felt like I didn't need to go to church to be close to God. You know what I'm saying? I needed to be a good person to be close to God. Apply his teachings to be a good person and to be a good Catholic. Okay. So
it's kind of like I can say like a difference that we have. Because it's like the way I look at it, the more you're able to like attend church, like be physically like in a temple, I feel like that's your opportunity to get closer to God. Just for like we live in a world where like we're constantly doing something, we're constantly working, and I feel like the opportunity, at least, even though if it's just a Sunday, you have like 3 hours where you can relax and like nobody's stressing you out.
Yeah, like a balance.
Yeah, so it's like obviously like you said, you didn't feel that you had to be in the temple just to like feel God.
Yeah, physically there, yeah.
So as in the chance of like, if we go more in depth a little bit more, like why is that so?
That I didn't feel like being physically there?
Like you felt like you had no need to like be there just because you could feel God, like you said.
To me, like I feel like God is like everywhere, He doesn't necessarily have to be, he doesn't have to be in just one place for 3 hours. My thing was more like physically getting myself involved in what he like created, basically. That's how I always saw it. Like, for example, the beach for me is a really big place. You know, I grew up there, going there during the summers with my family, friends, had a lot of different life events that happened on the beach. So for me, to just be in a place like that, or in the forest, or somewhere that, you know, God created, that for me is kind of like, that's my church, for lack of a better word.
I mean, it is true in a way, because we weren't, if we want to like take it like, I guess logically, technically in the Bible, it literally like it says that we're not supposed to, like, you know, not specifically I'm going to say it, but I'm trying to like summarize what I know of. We're not supposed to keep what it is, the Pentecostal or the church, close up before what for walls exactly. Like he told us, go preach my word all over the world, right? So I kind of understand, like, okay, where you're coming from, like trying to understand what you mean. Like obviously you're not gonna stay in like four walls. Like you go anywhere, preach, literally on the beach, for example. Yeah. And like obviously just with your testimony should like definitely preach for you first, you know. But that's, I feel that's people's preferences too. They can be a preference too, because it's like obviously you can't be on a person like, you have to go to church and this is like a mandatory thing, you know. It's all about how the person takes action and how they desire to do whatever they want to do, obviously. And then whatever, as in like, if there's a consequence or not a consequence, we'll never know until the day of. Yeah. But it's understandable. In a sense of like, were you born and raised in that? Like you had to go to Catholic church, like and go to a Catholic school? Yeah, my parents put me in since literally preschool, so I was in there from preschool until here until it was preschool until senior year of high school. And then you know, I was involved in church because of my school. You know, my parents didn't really like require me to go to church. Like, okay, you have to, like, I'm gonna force you to go to church. You have to do this. They were kind of like they had the same mindset as me. So I guess that's why I've kept that my whole life, minus when I was actually like in a Catholic school setting where they would kind of like force you to do that, you know. I know a lot of people have had bad experiences with Catholic schools, and talking about how they don't really teach you guys a lot of stuff, but just the stuff they want to teach you guys. Obviously, do you think, okay, now let's say like you step out of your body, right? Yeah. And you start analyzing your whole life and the transition from here then before. Do you think you wouldn't have never been closer to God if you never went to that school or never attended that type of situation? No, I feel like I still would have been, because my parents always raised me on that mindset of being a good Catholic person, but not necessarily having to, you know, be involved in like a church setting for that, or like, you know, anywhere near that, basically. The rest of my family is also relatively religious, so I've also kind of picked that up from them as well. Do you see yourself one day attending a church, for example? Yeah, I do. Like, starting from getting married, obviously you have to go to the temple. No, that's clear as day. But I'm saying, like, just like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people don't do certain things. I feel it's a time and place where, like, they feel like, yo, let me just go to church just because I want to go to, you know? Yeah. So, like, obviously, you don't attend it now, but you have hopes that one day at least you'll go. And then maybe you have a good experience, for example. Yeah. Now, as in, like, I'm Christian, right? Yeah. So, obviously, maybe the stuff we've been taught are different. Or maybe that's how we go about things. It could be the same, but it's a different thing, you know? But, how you gonna call it? These things, obviously, anything religious, I think everybody has something to, like attached to them about religion. Doesn't matter if they had a bad experience or they had a good experience that brought them to God, or you were raised in a way where, like, yo, you have to do this, and this is because our family does it, so you have to be part of it. Like, I think it's a good thing, just because I feel like you have a start of something. Yeah. You know? I agree. Because obviously you're not bound to just be one thing. It can be a chance where, like, okay, I was raised Catholic, Roman Catholic, right? You said Roman Catholic. Yeah, Roman Catholic. Maybe one day you want to change your perspective. Maybe you want to question things. Maybe you want to, like, kind of like deconstruct what venture out and be like, okay, so why did I learn this, and how does this relate, or what's the sense of this, like, what's the meaning of this, right? So if there's anything in your life, now we're talking separate from like Roman Catholic and religion in general. Okay. Was there any experience that you have had where you kind of questioned it? Like, you was like, question my religion, question God, that type of thing. Yeah. Not necessarily that I questioned God, but I just kind of asked myself, like, why it happened in that moment. So I want to say my dad passing away was definitely big for me. Okay.
And I just kind of was like, why did it have to happen now? What was the reason? Especially because he passed away when I was 18. I'm 20 now. And I said to myself, you know, why now? There was so much more that I felt like I had to do with him, you know, and I felt like it just kind of was taken away from me.
Okay.
So I didn't understand it, but I wasn't ever like angry with God. I just was just confused.
Yeah, that's
I
good
would
though,
say.
because at least you're stating that you weren't mad with God. That's good, because some people that do that mistake where they want to be mad at God, and then instead of things getting better, they become worse. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes God has to permit some things to like make a statement at least.
Yeah.
Because maybe you're probably doing something, or maybe if you look at it this way, maybe God took your dad, for example, because maybe the year 2021 to 2022, he was going to be in some deep, dangerous stuff, for example. Like you might never know. And that's like the mysterious things of life, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like always leaves you a question, like, man, why now? Like I was just about like, no fan for those kids that never had like that bond with their parents, and then when they finally meet them and they finally learn about each other, they're trying to like reconsider. Okay, let's try to like rebuild what we lost or didn't do. And then when you finally get a little bit of taste of like what you like, boom, they're gone. Yeah. And then you feel that emptiness, obviously. But obviously, when things happen like that, all you have to do is ask God to fill you up. You know, fill that emptiness. Because to be honest, bro, there's love. There's money, there's family, but to be honest, it's a battle between you and yourself. You know? So it's like anybody who literally fill up anything that you're missing is literally God. Like, trust me, for like, I'm literally living proof of it. Like, I have tried to like do things. For example, when I was sad, none of that worked out. And then the last resort was literally going on my knees and pray to God. Yeah. And what happens? I continue on my life, and obviously, you know, like la vida sigue. You can't be getting stuck. Sigue. Definitely. So that's good. What do you see yourself doing though? Because, for example, you're in school. What are you going to school for?
For physical therapy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you want to work in a school, or you want to work for like athletic programs for like, you know, NFL, for example? Or... If
I could get to that extent, then I definitely would take that opportunity. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking more into like sports physical therapy, but helping kids is also something that, you know, I'm open to, and you know, like I would love to help, you know, help children as well. Okay. Yeah.
That's cool. So like, as in like that, you're like practically helping people out with like those situations they get hurt. Okay.
Yeah, for physical injuries, that could be anything, like fractures, broken bones, tears, things like that. Okay. You know.
Cool. Now, obviously times change. You know, definitely with the pandemic we had, definitely a lot of things changed. For example. Do you see, or like, did you notice like people getting closer to like religion, going closer to like God, like that? That's how Wolf's got like looking for him.
I feel like some people have, especially in like, I have a small circle of friends back up at home in Hudson County that like, you know, they're pretty on the religious side, especially their parents. Definitely. And they've definitely, I've seen like a growth in a relationship with themselves and God, you know, together. Okay. Yeah, the quarantine, I feel like, you know, the pandemic definitely brought some people like closer to God, or closer to, you know, caring for themselves, and you know, becoming more self-aware, and you know, caring more about mental health and things like that. Definitely. I feel like that's all super important.
I feel like mental health was definitely a big thing for people.
Yeah,
definitely mental health. What do you see yourself doing though? Obviously, you already stated the field you're in and stuff like that. But as in like, I guess for example, let's say we're thinking like 10 years from now. 10 years from now. Yeah, so 10 years from now, and you have kids and stuff like that. Are you gonna raise your kids as well how you would have been raised? Like you go to Catholic Roman school or Catholic related situation. Like you'll also like pass it on to your kids, for example.
I would try to. I feel like also I enjoyed being in a Catholic school setting. You know, I enjoyed, you know, like I had my fun times as well. I made really, really good friendships.
So you really enjoyed it then? So
I did enjoy it. You didn't
really have like no hiccups in that?
No. Okay, I mean, great. Like the hiccups were just super minor, and I feel like the hiccups that I had were just like, it was stupid. It'd be like, oh, I have an issue with like a teacher, but who doesn't have that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But No, I enjoyed my Catholic school experience, I'd say.
Good. And that was where, like, what town?
I went from Union City for elementary and middle school, and then I went to Clark for high school.
Okay, so you went full blown Catholic school.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Cause I know some people that they studied
uniforms for 15 years
15
straight.
years, right? Yeah. Those uniforms, man.
They were cute though.
Yeah, because at least you guys have like a design. Us, it's straight one color, so it's like, I'm from Elizabeth, right? So we all have different high schools. Each one has a different color though. So like one is green, one is purple, one was gray, color. And then us, I was in a preparatory academy, right? We had to wear white button down with a tie and a blazer. The girls weren't allowed to wear pants, for example. They had to wear skirts. Okay. So it was like crazy, but those uniforms also, they were so expensive for no reason.
No, they really were.
Like, bro, a blazer cost me like a good $60.
You had to go to the Flynn O'Hara store, and
I bought at least 4 blazers my whole entire life in high school. It was ridiculous. But like, it's like, man, I'm like, what's the whole point of this? But I understood that, okay, it makes it easier for people to like kind of like feel soft, positive.
I liked my school colors.
What color are yours?
So elementary and middle, that was brown and gold, because it was like a Franciscan school, so it was like based off of that. It was really cute. They looked really cute together. And then high school was actually red and gold.
Oh wow! So red and gold was like red shirt and gold bottom, or red shirt?
It was like no. Our uniforms were like different for high school. It was like you wouldn't think that it would be like a red top and like a yellow skirt or vice versa. It was like a white polo with like a blue skirt. It was completely different from what we would like the school colors. Yeah, it was so funny, but they look nice.
That's good. Let's go a little more deeper. Just obviously, if you're comfortable with like answering. I remember I saw a post of you on one of your stories, and obviously I talked to you separately about it, or like you posted a photo of yourself when you were little, and you said that this little girl went through a lot. Like what were we like? If you collaborate, like what? You don't have to go so deep if you don't want
Super
to.
Deep, yeah.
But, like, you touch the surface around it a little bit.
Okay. I'm trying to like. Build everything up. Yeah, I just feel like, something over. So, I'd say, I can remember when things started getting a little, I started noticing that things were kind of like rough. I'd say I was probably about 6 or 7, and, I noticed that, not everything could be like, life wasn't like this perfect like image of like, sunshine and rainbows like a lot of people say, and my dad kind of like snapped me into that reality really quickly because of the things that he went through, so he kind of like opened my eyes up to like what the real world is like at such a young age. At a really young age, I would say, and I guess it was just in a way to like prepare me for the future. So he raised me. He was like pretty tough on me at times. That was definitely like a big part of it, Oh, wow. I would say, I remember, my dad, my dad just always had like different life lessons to share with me, and they would go really deep. Like, there were times that I didn't even really understand them until now. You know what I'm saying?
Like, the way I'm trying to understand it, like the old conversations we had, I feel like you young age, obviously you were taught about real life, but you were taught as in like the perspective of male. And so like you couldn't really like live as a girl or grow as a little girl. Like, you had to like be grown. And, like, something happens, you have to handle it right now. For example. Wow. Yeah, I had to toughen up at a really young age, I'd say, especially because my dad was around for the most part. My dad retired when I was really young. Okay. So he was like the stay-at-home dad, for like lack of a better word. Okay. He was retired, and then my mom was still working, so she would be gone a majority of the day. I'd still spend time with her, bond with her and everything, but she wouldn't come in until maybe like 4 or 5 o'clock during the day, and then like my weekends, to hang out. And so he was like mainly the one that was there.
Yeah, so my dad was there like 24/7.
See, that's why that's why his well, we now clearly that day that I was there cured, it marked you. Yeah. Because you eventually lost a part of yourself.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like it changed like slightly. Like once I lost him, it was just kind of like you said, like a piece of me was like missing. You know.
But that's okay though. You know, obviously it's not easy to get over things. Obviously, especially like a death in your family. Obviously, because it's just we're human. It happens, but we can't forget like it's bound to happen. Like la ley de la vida is like, yo, we get born and then you die. Like, you have to die. Like,
you have to. It's a cycle.
It just depends how it happens. But like it's like I guess more painfully for the person. You know, it's understandable. So I'm gonna ask you a little bit of questions in the sense of like let's say 4, 3.
Okay.
So we close up.
Okay.
What is like in your bucket list that you still haven't like succeeded yet? Like something that you want to do?
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely want to travel to more countries. Like I've been to a lot of places so far from a young age. I've been to Canada like 3 times.
Yeah, that's Canada.
Colombia.
No offense to Canadians. I'm always in there though. I've been there for like 4 times. Yeah. Understandable.
I've been to Canada 3 times, Colombia 2 times,
Puerto
Rico, Dominican Republic.
Hey, she knows where it's at.
Punta Cana. That was the last place that I went to. Yeah, out of the country. I went there a few months ago. Loved it.
Keep going. We'll talk a little about that experience. We have to put it out here because it's like at this point, why not? You know. So let's put this right here. There's a situation where you told me that you went to DR, my own country. Obviously, I'm not born there, but I was born and raised in the United States. But my family merged from there. You told me in the resort that you had a bad like situation where like a male touched you incorrectly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was insane. I wasn't even expecting it because I was just minding my own business, you know. I was just swimming and he came up to me and I was just like, oh, hi. He was like, hey. Then all of a sudden he started asking me like questions where I was from. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But then all of a sudden he started getting closer and I was like, no.
I feel like that's the reason why they always tell you the Americans don't trust them. The Americans, they're crazy. Like, bro, like, you males who do this are messing up us. Like, we're messing up our reputations right here.
Giving you guys a bad image.
Jesus. It's ridiculous, bro. But I'm so sorry that happened to you, though, obviously. It's not something that I can say, okay, never happens. Like, obviously it happens. Yeah. But it's so sad it happened to you. You know, so that's crazy. Okay, so obviously, even though you would attend church, obviously, or none of that situation, but I know, like, I think at least I guess in general, everybody knows at least a verse that they always say they always state, or like their grandparents always told them that same verse, and like it kind of got memorized in your head. Like
a biblical verse.
Like, do you have one?
I have one. I don't remember like the exact like chapter verse, but I know it's from Genesis. Oh, Genesis chapter 3. That I can remember, and it has to do with like life and death, and it honestly, it impacted me after the loss of my dad. And then I don't remember the exact wording, but I think it's like, it goes something along the lines of, from dust you came, to dust you shall return.
Oh yeah, that is true. Because the thing is that humanity was made out of dust, right? Obviously. And as shall dust you should go back. And obviously before, it was never like that. It was just obviously after, like, obviously, what are these 2 people? Wow. That's how you know it's like crazy, the stuff they did. But like Adam and Eve, for example. Yeah. That's the people I'm talking about. Before, we were allowed to be on Earth and to live forever. But since that situation happened, we have to return back to dirt. Yep. You know? So thank you, Adam and Eve. Okay?
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
Literally. But yeah, that's why it explains everything now. That's why females also have to be born, they give birth but with pain. That's why you guys get that monthly thing situation out because of Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve.
Jesus Christ.
I wish I could talk to them, have like a little, chit chat in the alley, you know.
But it's like we're talking about the death stuff situation. It's like, Bible also states if we die for him, it's ganancia. Morir en Cristo es ganancia. So as long as we die for him, you're winning life. You're winning more life. You feel me?
I agree.
So it's like there shouldn't be that doubt or like this, yo man, this guy died. It's like just
there's nowhere else to go after that. Definitely. I feel like we're just so much more than just here, Exactly. So I feel like that's why once we pass on, like there's definitely something beyond that,
Definitely. Let's take it in a way. It's gonna be a question where, let's see. So it's like you as a female, right? What are things that bothers you, for example, you know how they be like, oh, well, obviously now, because we're a different generation, hello. But our parents' generation, so that they like, yeah. Someone's supposed to be staying at home, take care of the kids, only just stay home. You know? Because no offense to those, like, those males were like, okay, I'm the man in the house and like I'm gonna make the money and I want to keep my girl as a queen. Okay, that's respectable. But I feel like the girl has rights to like aportar para la casa. She could work as well. You know, so like as a perspective, like where you were raised in a way where like, oh, you have seen somebody else raised that way where like my parents told me they have to do this and this and that because it's like that. Like
I would say career wise, not for me, but like for some people that I know, they've been where. Their parents say, oh, you want to become, let's say you want to become an artist of some sort. Okay, no, you can't do that. Steer more towards like the medical field. Then you'll be successful. Like I've seen that happen a lot. I haven't seen anything where like a parent says to the daughter or the son, you have to be like a housewife or you have to provide for the family while your wife stays home. That I haven't seen. I guess like, times have changed and stuff like that. So that I haven't seen, but definitely. It's crazy.
I had a friend. This was like my sophomore year of college. She told me like, "Oh, I have to go home because I have to go wash my brothers and sisters' clothes and my parents' clothes and like that." I'm like, "Huh?"
What?
Because in my household, everybody washes their stuff. Like, you don't wash your clothes on you, you know. But she literally cleans her brother's stuff, everything, even the room. And one day I asked her, I was like, "So how old are these people?" Oh, they're older than me. Like at least one of them is like younger than her, but other ones are older than her, and she cleans all their rooms. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, are you like you're not recognizing that you're like technically doing slave work? Like, what's going on? So I feel like it all depends also about like practices. Obviously, like Hispanic, we know like we're a certain way. For example, Americans are a certain way. We go even like Asian people, they're a certain way. Obviously, you have to respect their cultures and where they come from.
Yeah, everyone has.
But I feel like there's so many things I have seen. Like, bro, that's extreme. Like, I don't understand why you guys do this.
Out of pocket.
I'm like, bro, how do you see this normal? But that's their problems. I can't really. I just gotta give them an example and then try to like, give my opinion on it. But thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed this.
This was fun. I was nervous at first, but now I'm chilling.
But now, as you, I was your friend that you were raised Roman Catholic, stuff like that. Do you see yourself, or for example, did you see something like out of Christian, as a Catholic, like say a Christian church a Christian church specifically that you liked, or you were like, oh, so why do we practice this but they don't practice that? Like you have seen that before,
I've seen that happen before. Yeah. When I went to high school. I remember seeing people kind of like question some things that like would be taught. They'd be like, oh, why does this happen? But why doesn't this happen? Okay. Those types of things. Okay. Yeah, I've seen it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you guys folks for watching this. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm going to link her social media downstairs in the description below. Obviously add her, add me, add the channel, subscribe. We have to fill this algorithm because guys know YouTube is an algorithm, we have to feed it, So let's feed the algo, Definitely. Also, don't forget to do the hashtag Tres Golpes Tv. Also, just stay on top of things, obviously, with us, So, what's the whole point of doing this? You guys are not subscribing, right? So, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget, like I always said in the videos, examine videos, la cosa de saben. Peace.
It just stays the same. Tired of your games. Don't know what you wanna play. You got me wrapped around, so I gotta stay. I'm trapped in your love. Toxic places, love. You got me wrapped around, so I gotta stay. I guess I gotta stay.